Oh, those numbers are flying. Good morning, Lori. How are you?
It's so funny when you said that. I was just thinking the same thing. The minute you went live, all of a sudden the numbers were climbing, and I was thinking, "Wow, those numbers go!" Hello, Lauren. We have a very special show. We'll be talking about it in a bit.
I know it's going to be a fun one, but I mean, every show is fun, right? So,
Theory in life. I have many, but one of my favorite theories is in my life, if it's not fun, I'm not doing it. I've lived by
uh,
that, and sometimes what I have to do is go, well, this isn't fun. I have to do it. So how can I make it fun? Even if in my mind I sing a happy tune while I'm doing it. But I think if you're gonna be here, you gotta laugh, right?
you might as well, right?
You
You
know,
might
I'm
as well.
the tax. Of course I gotta laugh. I don't to be the hilarious marketing person. I gotta do the numbers. You gotta laugh because the numbers don't laugh, right?
Right.
At you sometimes, and that's not a good thing.
Oh. Oh, look, Emma. Good morning, Emma. Okay. So true. So true.
That's perfect, Emma, because we're going to have a fun game today, and we're expecting your participation as always. Where would the show be without Emma in the audience, Lauren? I can't imagine. And all our frequent flyers that are here, this is just awesome. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to shut up and pass it on to you, Lauren. Take over.
Oh, yeah. Well, good morning to all of you. Let me go ahead and start sharing my screen so that we can dive into today's show. There we are. Go to the beginning. There we are. So good morning, everyone. My name is Lauren Simpson. Welcome. This is SmallBiz Talk, solutions for your small business with the incomparable Lori Williams. Good morning, Miss Lori.
Good morning.
So again, my name is Lauren Simpson, and I represent the SBDC, or the Small Business Development Center. We are a national program with over 1,000 locations across the country. So regardless of what state you might be in, you are able to get connected with a local SBDC office. And you'll want to do so because we offer no-cost services to local small businesses. And they're at no cost because your tax dollars have already taken care of our bill. So you might as well take advantage of the resources that we offer. For the Los Angeles network, again, which is the network that I represent, we serve businesses throughout the Los Angeles, Santa Barbara, and Ventura counties. And you can see those locations represented on the the map in front of you. As you can see, we go as far out as Camarillo over to Santa Clarita, Pasadena, all the way down to Long Beach. Now, here's a deeper dive as to what it is that we do. We offer no-cost business advising, and so you're able to get connected with business experts like our guru of all knows, Ms. Lori Williams, as well as those who are experts in the fields of marketing, business planning, whatever it is your business might need. We have resources for you. We also offer virtual trainings, much like the training you are joined today. So go ahead and get in contact with us. We can be reached at 866-588-7232. If you'd prefer to reach out to us via online, please go to smallbizla.org/new client. And then for those of you who have joined us outside of the Los Angeles area, please go to americassbdc.org/find your SBDC. And then finally, I wanted to touch on the California Dream Fund. You can see the URL here in front of you. It's smallbizla.org/dream fund. The registration for our first cohort has already opened, so please be sure to go to that landing page, fill out the form that you'll find on that landing page, and to be included into our list, excuse me. And you'll want to do so because this grant program offers microgrants in the amounts of $5,000 as well as $10,000 to seed new businesses. So if you're a brand new business, be sure to check out that URL. Again, it's smallbizla.org/dream fund. And with that, I'm going to stop my screen share. And again, good morning to you, Lori.
Hey, good morning, Lauren. I got a couple things to talk about. First, real quick, I am going to go over what our upcoming shows are. So, in next week, we're going to talk to a special guest who started her business with a solid financial plan. So important. And she's going to talk about how she created the company, how she created her product, how she has it manufactured, what she considers for marketing, tons of information. After that, we've got Stefano of Brew Rings. If you are around the LA area, I think also maybe San Diego, you may have seen the food truck. He's going to come talk about what it took to get started in the food truck industry. Then the week after that, we're going to have Abby, which sells a product, a herb product. She is an herbalist, and she's gone through from just giving one-on-one consultations to selling her product in little retail areas to selling it wholesale. Tons of information that she will be sharing. And then following that, which I don't have a date yet, we're going to have a really interesting discussion because I have a longtime SBDC client who is in the restaurant business, and we all know restaurants got hit pretty hard. Well, she made the gut-wrenching decision to sell her company, her and her husband. And and I've gone through this with a whole year of her finding a buyer, going through the financials, everything she needed to know, how she made the decision, etc. And so she's going to tell you a little bit about, if you get to that point, what it took to sell, what she learned. It's going to be a great story, and I'm really excited that she is going to come on and talk about it. So that's kind of coming up. But you know what, Lauren, I thought we'd have a contest. I think a contest would be fun. So
Okay.
We talked about the need to have fun. And the last two shows, it just so happened, I don't even know where it started out, but if you guys stayed here till the end, we started doing a dance at the end, right? Well, yes. And I'm wanting to be like Oprah. And so I think we need a dance to end our show, right? Now, of course, we're limited. We only got from here up, and the moves got to be kind of slow or something because we got to play with Zoom. But I bet you we could come up with about 4 or 5 moves that we could have our standard dance, and we could teach our guests to do it, right? But here's the problem, Lauren. I am not a dance choreographer, and I'm not creative. But you know what, guys? We have a whole audience out there, okay? So I got an idea, Lauren. We have a contest, and we give 2 weeks.
Yes.
Audio. I think we can only have about 5 moves because we got to teach a guest in a couple minutes to do those 5 moves. 5 upper body moves, and this becomes our standard ending. I know last time, or the very first time we started the dance, we had in the chat people go, I'm still dancing, I'm still dancing. I know there's somebody out there. And guess what? There's going to be a prize.
Ooh.
Now, I think prizes should be free marketing. That's what I think. Okay.
I love
Free
it. I love it.
So I think what we should do is whoever's dance moves we choose should get their name and company on our landing page for a month and through our social media. What do you think of that, Lauren?
I love it. That's
Cool?
a fantastic idea. Look, we already have people in the Emma, C. Rodriguez. Everyone's already excited, Lori. I think they might be our first ones.
Cool. Now, I don't want to take the burden on myself to choose, and I know you don't. So how about if we get the audience to choose?
I love it.
Okay, so guys, Lauren puts her email in this chat. 2 weeks, send us a video. Remember, we can only have 4 or 5 moves. We got to learn this and teach guests in 5 minutes to do it. And then in 2 weeks, we're going to show the videos. You guys are going to vote. We'll get the winner. It becomes the standard Small Biz Talk dance to end the show for the remaining time the show is live, and you get advertisement. So that is the excitement coming up for the show contest.
Lori, that's a win-win. If I haven't heard one before, so.
Wins, and I love things that are fun. Now, what do you think we should talk about today, Lauren?
Now, Lori, and to our audience, I have some pretty cool news. I want to start a cookie company.
That's so cool. Well, Lauren, have you thought about how much it cost?
I mean, no, but I know I want to go to farmers markets and I can sell them there.
Do you know how many you're going to be selling? Have you thought about that?
Well, no, but guess what? I have a lot of passion and drive and tons of butter. So I'm ready to go.
Yeah, passion and drive and butter is a very good start. But you think that you could go to the grocery store and buy groceries for your family on passion, drive, and butter?
Oh,
No, no. I think we better get into some work, shouldn't we? We better get some work
yes,
on this.
yes.
Okay, guys, listen, Lauren wants to start a cookie company. We've got to teach Lauren how to start a cookie company. So let's go, let's get going on this. I just so happen to have some behind the scenes numbers. So, guys, this is what we're doing today. So, the first thing I'm going to say is you got to give me a little leadway because I'm going live and trying to show you something today while playing with an Excel document, completely playing with it, right? And what I'm wanting to do is we're going to solve Lauren's cookie situation, but more so on a serious note, guys. I have been telling you that you have to ask financial questions. You have to understand how much it costs for your product. And I also just held a 3-week special show on marketing where we went through all these cool ways to market. But I told you that you have to have a marketing budget. It has to go back into how much you're selling things for. You've got to bring everything together. So what I'm going to attempt to do today, and audience, you guys are participating. So you got to pay attention because I'm going to ask you questions of things Laura needs to know, and you're going to stick them in the Q&A. Try to get them in the Q&A because that's the panel that I see the most when we're going. So first of all, what we're going to do here, and like I said, I tried to create this while we're teaching it. So if I get something wrong, we're going to go from there. Okay. And Lauren, at any point, if what I'm saying you can't see the screen, I'm going to maneuver a lot, you give me a shout out. So the first question I asked Lauren was, how much did it cost to make a cookie? And Lauren was like, I don't know how much it's going to cost. So what we have to do, guys, is the very first thing, and I want to say straight up, if you're selling a service, I am going to address this at the end. I know I got a question emailed to me about a service company, how you figure out your hours. We're going to get back to that at the end. So if you have a service business, please don't tune out with me. You've got to follow it from a product company business. And then what we're going to do is we're going to also back it into a service business. Okay. So guys, the first thing we're doing is we ask a bunch of questions. We have to start out by calculate the ingredients to make the cookie. Now, I actually want to say a sentence before this. 99.999% of business owners and entrepreneurs in the small business world treat startup forecasting and even forecasting for an existing business by sitting down and putting in numbers and saying, well, I think sales will be this amount, and this is how much we're going to make the first year, and this is how much. And so the minute if I told you all to go and start a business plan, the first thing you're going to do is say, I think sales should be this, I think sales should be this, and this is what's going to happen. So you build it based on a fictitious story. And I can tell you from experience, 99.9% of the forecast I look at that people have done, even through other people helping them, are incorrect. What I am doing today, and I wanted to start out by telling you this premise, we're not going to create a financial plan of what the cookie company is going to be as much as keywords. So I'm going to go slow here. We're going to create first, the financial plan of what the cookie company must be. Okay, must be. What in the world am I talking about? Well, let's think about it in regards to personal finance. Because when I say a business and a company and finance, people like zone out. They're like, oh, I don't understand finance. I don't understand business finance, etc. Right? And they zone out. But if I relate to your personal financial discussions, you fully get it. So can I buy any house I want? Can I buy $1 million house, a $10 million house, a $15 million house? You're going to say, no, there is a certain amount of house I can afford. I can afford? You're going to tell me that right away. And I'll go, well, say I'm just a teenager, or a teenager. Maybe I'm in my 50s buying a house with house prices this day. That's probably a better story. But say I've never, dealt with budgets or anything. I'd say, well, how do I know what kind of house I can afford? You'd say, well, you'd have to put together a budget. And I would say, well, what's that? Well, you got to figure out how much your costs are and what do you have as expenses, et cetera. So you guys understand that in order for me to buy a house or have anything, I have to understand how much I'm going to make. And if how much I make changes, I may not be able to afford that house. So if I suddenly have this really good paying job and I bought this house because I could afford it and I lost that job and couldn't get the same pay, I can't afford the house anymore. So it's very dynamic. It's not static. It's just we hope that we can get a certain income. We'll buy a house within those means and we'll stay that way. But we know consciously it's very dynamic. So you can see that there is a relationship, a connectedness between what our salary is or how much money we bring in and what we can afford in our personal life, our house, our car, whatever. And then the money left over tells us whether we can go out to the movies, we can go on a vacation to Hawaii, or we're going on the vacation with a tent in our backyard. We don't know. But all of these numbers are very dynamic. On a personal side, we fully comprehend that. Well, when you think about business finance, it's no different. It's just that the variable, the salary, is even more so variable and it changes constantly, but you still have to look at the same parameters. So going back to the house, I would possibly say, what is the most house I could afford? And in order to do that, I would have to take a look at all my expenses, take a look at the house payment, take a look at how much is left over. And I'd say, well, this is the maximum house or the minimum house. And then that creates the amount I can go out and buy the house, right? So what we're going to do, first of all, is we're going to try to figure out what is the minimum amount of sales the company has to make in order to cover the overhead. And what I'm doing is I'm teaching just a little tiny piece of the analysis that I do. And then I can take it and build onto it like building blocks. But this is where I always start. Okay, so now that I kind of given you that little bit of introduction, let's go into the Excel sheet. Let's start building this parameter. We're not doing a forecast. We're not doing a business plan. We are building parameters, and then we're going to test the parameters to get an idea. Sounds interesting? Let's go. So let's say that I need these amount of cost in ingredients in order to make a batch of cookies, and the cookies are 240 cookies are in a batch. Okay, so if I take this amount of ingredients, I mix them all in a bowl, I bake them, I get 240 cookies in a batch, right? But what I need to really know is I need to know how much per cookie. Okay, so I say, well, if it costs $6.20, I think I, rounded off some here, in ingredients to make 240 cookies, then how much does it cost in ingredients to make one cookie? Okay, well, let's see if it's $6.20 to make a batch. If I divide 240 cookies, it equals 0.026 cents per cookie. Okay. So guys, and use the Q&A, how much does it cost to make one cookie? Can anybody write it in there so I can see somebody's paying attention? How much does it cost to make one cookie? Okay. Now, as you're putting in that answer, I want you to think even more so. So here's the trick question. It's Jeopardy. If I know the cost to make a cookie, could there be other cost involved in making the cookie? Am I missing any cost? Very good, Emma. Yay. Okay, guys, could I be missing any cost? I'm going to say, okay, it costs me 0.026 cents, 0.026 cents to make a cookie. So I got all my costs to make a cookie. Is that true? Could I be missing something else? Let's see. Well, no, nothing. You think I got everything? Possibly. We're getting this. We're getting this. Yes, yes. Labor. Okay. Now, labor and overhead. So guys here, and if anybody has ever had a one-on-one on me, if you've talked to me personally in the audience, you're going to know the answer to this, right? I'm going to say to you guys, but guys, no, I'm baking the cookie, so it doesn't cost me any labor, right? Right? It doesn't cost me any labor because I'm baking the cookie, right? And I hear that all the time. And I say, do you work for free? Do you want to always work for free? If you create a company where you first do the analysis, where you are not getting paid to do any of the work that you're performing, guess what kind of company you're going to create, guys? You're going to create a company that you won't be paid to do any of the work you're performing. You're going to see this in a bit. So the first big lesson when you learn about this is that any labor that you are engaging in the company must be calculated and included in the cost. And Heather, you're right, packaging as well, overhead, packaging, labor, all these come into play. So let's look at labor. So, and like I said, give me a little bit of leeway as I scroll down through this. I might be I've hidden little sections so we can build it one time at a time. Okay, so now what we have to do is we have to calculate the cost to make the cookie. So I'm going to say, well, it's a 30-minute baking time, and I'm making all this up, guys. These numbers may not make sense, but I'm making up. And it's a 30-minute preparation time to make a batch of cookies, right? So what I ask is, how much would I pay a baker? I'm going to be doing it, but how much would it cost me to pay somebody else to do it? I'm not going to say I'm the CEO of the company and I get paid $3.50 an hour, so it's going to cost $3.50. No, you have to take the market rate of what it would cost for you to replace yourself doing that activity. And I'll give you a little insight as to why. If your company grows, you may have to hire a baker. If you don't have a cost in to bake the cookies and you figured your time for free, you did not set a selling price, you did not set cost correctly, you don't know how many cookies you have to sell, you set it up as if I made the cookies and their ingredients were free. Well, you guys know the ingredients in the cookies not free. Why is the labor free? So this comes to one of those, I used to always call them myths in the small business world. I'm going to call them frustrating myths. It's like pull my hair out when I hear this, because people say, well, when you start a company, you really don't make money and I'm going to, eventually get paid down the road. And I'm telling you guys, I've been in this for years and decades and decades. You don't get paid down the road. You start a company, you don't get paid. You create a company, you won't get paid. Now, that's not to say that you won't maybe get some money in your purse because you're reinvesting it. But if your primary analysis does not consider you getting paid, of course, your ending analysis is not going to have you getting paid either. Okay. So what I'm going to do in this section, I'm just going to say, well, if I would pay a baker to bake the cookies $11.50 per hour, I'm going to say in 1 hour, I make 240 cookies. So 1 hour, the cost is $11.50. Then therefore it's 0.047 per cookie. Remember, we got to get to per cookie, okay? So what we now know with this just very simple math is, what is the cost to make a cookie? Well, it's 0.026 of the ingredients. I figured now the labor is 0.05. So my total cookie cost to make the cookie is 0.76, approximately 8 cents per cookie. Okay. So it's 0.8 cents per cookie for the labor and also for the ingredients. Okay. Now we know we have other costs. Heather and Emma, they've let us know we got other costs included. But here's the next question that I want to ask. Am I just going to sell a cookie? No, I'm not going to sell a cookie. what Lauren told me, she's going to farmer's market. She's not going to sell cookies. She's going to sell bags of cookies. Okay. So what we have to now do is we understand raw material cost, if you will. We've got to translate this now into the product, the finished product. It'd be like if I knew that a chair would this much for wood, but I sell a chair and a table together, I got to translate it into a product. Okay. So now I'm going to translate it into a product. Okay. So, and at any point, guys, if you miss something I'm saying, you stop and you say, hey, I missed something, and I'm trying to watch the Q&A, and Lauren's watching my back too. So if I miss something, shout out at me, okay? Now, oh, and I hear, Joel, I got to say Joel's sentence question out loud because this so hits a vein in me, Joel. Thank you for writing this. This is Joel. And I always hear at times from owners that their employees are making more than me. That is exactly what I'm talking about, Joel. And I tell that all the time. I go, I see all the company owners. I want to be the employee. I don't want to be the owner. And the reason they're making more is they never included it in their cost. Great point bringing that home, Joel. That is exactly what I'm talking about. And yes, there is the gas to make the cookie. Totally correct, Eva. And thank you so much for being so precise. Sorry, I'm making this dance all over right now. I left out the gas and I didn't want to get too specific, but you are absolutely correct. I would figure out how much gas, how much energy, all that stuff, or I could put gas in as a overhead cost. But good catch on that. Good to see that you guys are staying there and watching things with me. Okay, guys, so let's go back where we were. I got all excited about some of the things in the Q&A. So we got the total ingredients and labor is 0.8 cents per cookie. But this is what we're going to do. We're going to bag the cookies, okay? So what we're going to do is we're first going to create them into a product. So I got small, medium, and large. I'm just going to use those to identify the name, okay? All I did is I wanted to create a name for my product. In my small bag, there's going to be 10 cookies. So what was the cost per cookie? 0.076 times 10, 0.76. So this is the ingredients and labor cost to take 10 cookies and put them in what? A bag. So we got to have packaging. So my packaging consists of a bag, a label, and a logo. I did the same kind of analysis. How many logos do I have to buy at once? What is the per logo cost? How many bags? What is the per bag cost? I did the same analysis and I came up with the fact that for a small bag, it was 31 cents, a medium 42, and a large 45. Okay, but the same analysis. So what I'm doing here is I'm saying if it's 10 cookies, this is the cost per cookie. This is the total cost for 10 cookies. This is the cost of the packaging. So this is the total cost, okay? And I'm doing the same thing. If I have 20 cookies in the bag, this is the cost per cookie. This is the packaging. This is the total cost. And the large, 30 cookies in a bag. Cost for 30 cookies. Cost for the packaging. Total cost for this product called large, okay? Now, what's really interesting, guys, and we're going to see this near the end, is every single one of these things I want you to realize is a choice. I made a choice of how many cookies to put in the small bag. I made a choice of how many cookies to put in the large bag. I made a choice of what ingredients to use. I made a choice. All this is choice, right? So this immediately begs some questions. Let me add one more part. I have decided right now because I went, well, I think when I went to the last farmer's market, people were selling about 10 cookies in a bag and they were somewhere around 5. So I'm going to make it $5.25. I'm going to do this for $8.50, $13.75. I did this all based on what I saw competitors selling in the marketplace. Okay. This has no bearing on anything other than what competitors are charging. Right here is where most people stop. They may figure out the cost, hopefully. They might figure out the sell price on the competitors. They do that a lot. But this right here begs a million questions. And I'm not even into overhead yet because it says, is the selling price correct? Is the cost per correct? Should I put 11 cookies? Should I put 13 cookies? Should I put 25 cookies? Okay. What I want to get across today is these questions are not at first, not at first marketing questions. They are financial questions. You do go in the marketplace to confirm, but they begin as a finance question. And you've heard me say this again and again. Questions should be answered financially first. Go out in the marketplace. If you can't get the finance and the market to align, you don't have a company. Bottom line, you just don't. If you cannot get the amount it costs you to align with the amount you can sell, maybe because all competitors are buying cheaper in China and you're not, or what have you, right? You don't have a company. But at the end of the line, it's black and white. These numbers have to matter. So right now, what we have so far is we created the cost per cookie, and we created a sell price based on competitors, right? But now we got to get into calculating some more things. So everybody with me so far? Thumbs up. Nobody's lost. Everybody got where I got this data, because I'm going to take this data and take it with me now. So now we're going to go into some new calculations, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do, and this is where it gets into the good stuff, guys, and I'm just giving you the format. When we're done, you're going to see you can ask any question of this. Okay, let's look right here where my cursor is. All I did, and I'm missing overhead, guys. I didn't want it to be a long list. I wanted this to be simple. So I'm totally missing overhead, okay? But what I have here is I'd say marketing, I'm going to do $50 a month. I'm going to put flyers on cars, what have you. I can identify what that is, but I'm going to spend $50 per month, okay? That I determined. The farmer's market, it is going to cost me $3.50 or $350, sorry, per month to go to the farmer's market. My gas, I think it's going to be about $100. I'm going to have an assistant at the table with me. That's going to be $500. My cell phone internet's about $25 a month. My permits are $20. Now, one of the things I didn't include in here that I should have when I created my little sample is the rent. Now, I definitely should have put rent in there, because once again, if I don't put rent in there, I am not calculating in case I have to go into a commercial kitchen. If I calculate a business where I use my own stuff, I do not have any charge associated with the use of my own stuff, and I don't get paid, I will create a company that I cannot pay for an office, I cannot pay for a space, I cannot pay for anything, and I don't get paid. Just like Joel says, you also are pretty much stuck. So what I definitely must have included in here, and I can see my mistake, is rent. So I should have included rent. So I make a little note that I've got to go back and I've got to include rent. I got to get Zoom to hide the control, so I have more control. So I already know that in my little thing, I made a mistake, and I have to go back and create rent and figure out some rent. So this is how you create this, and then you look at it and go, wait a minute, I'm missing something, and you make a little note to go back and change it, okay? So that was how I wanted to teach you about including rent, because that way you actually saw me miss it and recognized how important it is. So now I have startup cost. I had to buy a mixer, I had to buy the containers, I'm gonna get a new oven. My oven's not gonna make big batches. I got cabinet, I got the canopy at the farmer's market, some chairs. So my startup capital is $4,850. So here is my amount of overhead per month and my amount of overhead per year, okay? So we now have the ingredients for the cookie. We have the labor to create a cookie, which I'm gonna do right now, but I have the labor cost included. We have the overhead. I know I must go back and include rent, so I got to audit my numbers. I may have not included everything. And we also have how much it was to start the company. Now, over here, guys, in this corner, all I did was, and let me extend this so you can see it. And if anybody can't see this slide with these overhead and startup cost, you let me know, because sometimes when I move Zoom around, you don't get to see everything. So please, if you're not looking at a panel that says that marketing is 50, you let me know, okay? Let me know in the Q&A, because I want to make sure that we're all seeing this. Now, guys, this was what we did in the previous panel over here, where I have my 3 sizes. my number of cookies, my cost per cookie, my packaging, my total cost of my sell price. I just recreated that here so we could look at it all together, okay? So it's going to get fun now. You ready? Here we go. Now, this is all I'm going to do. And this is so simple. You're going to see how simple this is. I want to analyze this. So I'm going to say sales. I'm going to figure out how many sold, the sell price, and the total sales. Real simple. I'm going to say a month. I'm going to say, well, what are my products? I got small, medium, and large. That's my products. And this is saying I just sell one a month. We're going to start there. Just to have a number in, okay? Now, my sell price, we know. We made this up based on competitors. And all I'm doing here is saying if I sell one at $5.25, I have a total sale of $5.25, okay? I put one in there so you can see. All I'm doing is saying, here is how much I'm gonna sell each product, and here's the quantity I'm selling. That's all I'm doing here, okay? I'm estimating the quantity. Remember, ding, 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 reminder, reminder. This is not saying how much I am actually going to forecast. This is going to tell me how much I must sell. So I'm beginning my forecast with parameters. Remember, we're doing parameters. Okay. If I sell one small, I must have the cost of one small. That's a given, right? So these numbers have to match. And these costs, where did it come from? We know that. Where was my total cost, which include the labor, the ingredients, the packaging. So the total cost to make a small bag is $1.07, right? So right here's my $1.07, my $1.95, my $2.73. Once again, if I sell one, this is how much it is. So if I just sell one, I have my total sales of $27.50, my total cost of $5.74, and the leftover gross profit, which is the total sales minus the total cost, is the gross profit. Okay, somebody put in the Q&A, what is the gross profit calculation? Who is listening? What is the gross profit calculation? It's an important one. So somebody put in, what did I just say the gross profit calculation is? If I don't see it, I'm going to go through it again. Yay, total sales minus total cost. Thank you, Rick. Thank you. Okay, now we got that, okay? Now, what happens is, remember I had my overhead up here per month? I'm working on per month, okay? My overhead up here per month is $1,045. So if I just sold one of each product per month, I'd lose $1,023. Doesn't that sound fun? No. Well, let's see, what would I lose per year? All I'm doing now is I'm taking $27.50 per month times 12. I have 330 in sales. I'd have in cost, 69 in cost. I'd have in gross profit, 261. I'd still have my overhead times 12, which you can see is right here also. I would lose 12,279. Yay. Okay, that's not good. Okay, now, right here, I know I'm missing rent, right? I know I got to fix some of this, but this is at least a skeleton I can work with. Okay, guys, now, I want you to just look at this. Just look at it. You're going to give me a calculation, right? And you're going to tell me, what do you think is the quantity? Just off the top of your head, guys. I just did one. You're not going to sell one. You're just going to the farmer's market. You're going to go to the farmer's market a couple weeks. Your overhead's only 1,000 per month. How many cookies do you think we need to sell in order to at least make $1, okay? So I am not going to make up the numbers. You throw them in. So when you do Dolly 261, I want to know if that's total. See, I got to put them in each blank. So let's start out. Guys, give me a number to put in small. How many cookies should we try first putting in our little sample for small? See, I just saw that over in, let's see, put it in Q&A if you can, guys. I know the chat's going big, but I only can look at one at a time. So the Q&A, I think I saw a 12 over there. So I'm going to put in small. I sold 12 smalls at the market, okay?
Lori, there's also a 55.25.
Okay, so, well, I can't sell 0.25. You got to give me a quantity, a full number. So give me a full number. We got, thank you, Lauren. We got 12 for small. Tell me how many mediums did I sell? Remember, now we got a basis. I only sold 12 small at the farmer's market for the month. How many mediums did I sell? Give me a number. 6. Yay. Okay. Give me a number for large.
I see 15 in here.
All right. Did we make any money this month? Deet, 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 deet. Who can tell me? Did we make any money? Let me scroll up on this.
Ruby says yes.
Ah, look at net income, Ruby. Did we make any money? No.
Emma and Daisy say no.
We lost $790. You might not be able to see the negative signs as well, you know, but yes, we lost $790. That's a lot, guys. We're still in the negative. This is not going well. We need some bigger numbers. Okay, I need some bigger numbers. Let's try a bigger number. You ready? Here we go. How many small? 55. Okay, how many medium? 100. We're getting better in sales.
Oh, someone says 500, Lori.
Oh, I don't think we can do that on 1,045 though. Let's think about this. Oh my God, it might be great, but can we have the same amount of gas and the same amount of farmers market to do 500? Oh my God, they all have to align. I don't know if we could. Let's do this first. Let's come back to that 500. I'm going to write it right here because that's an excellent answer, but we got to look at this. This is so cool. I love it, guys, because we're going down the same route I do with everybody all the time, and I have to correct them. Okay, let's do a 65 here. Okay, did we make money, guys? Did we make money? Does anybody know? Did we make money? Yay! Yes, we made $557. Are we rich? No. What did we make? Oops, sorry, I'm toggled. What did we make for the year? We made 6,686. Now, let's take some learning. Let's take some more interesting facts. So we created something that made money. We made 6,686, but we also got paid to bake. Remember, we did not hire anybody to get paid. We got paid to bake, right? So what we can do, and this I just calculated with the number of bags. Keep in mind what I'm saying here. So I'm going to go slow, guys. If I sold 55 smalls, which we put up there, there's 10 cookies. That's 550 cookies. I got paid 0.5 in labor per cookie. I got $27.50. I got $100 to bake the medium cookies. I got $97 to make the large cookies. So I got $225. I got paid to bake the cookies. I got $557 from my company, and I got $782 per month. Not getting rich on this one. Okay, trick question, guys. You ready? If I paid somebody to bake the cookies instead of me doing it, how much money am I then getting? Trick question. Ding, 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 ding. It's right here on the screen. I didn't bake this time. I paid somebody to do it. I see it in the chat. Yes, $557. Oh, I just lost my mouse, guys. Hold on, I gotta bend down and get my mouse. It went flying. I got so excited. Hey, bear with me. Mouse has run away. I hate when that happens. Okay, you're right. $557. Now, ready? Oh, we're so good. We're learning so much today. You ready for this? This is going to be the drum roll. Boom, 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 boom. If I didn't include, okay, trick question, guys. If I did not include the money for the labor of the cookies and then I hired somebody to bake it, what would have happened to the $782? What would I have had to do? Can anybody guess on that one? It's a trick one, but think about it. I baked it, so I got 225 to bake. I made this from the income from the company. This is what I totally made. If I did not include this money in my cost, and then I suddenly paid somebody to bake it, what would happen to this number? Yes. So what would happen is suddenly I have built an Excel document that's faulty because now I didn't include any money to bake the cookie. And so what if my selling price, I determined, and I'm selling it all over, and the selling price is fixed. I never included my own labor because I said I work for free. Then I hired somebody. I am hurting my gross profit and I can't get it back. You guys, if you listen to me every week, you heard me tell stories where people did not calculate the whole cost for their company at the beginning. They set a selling price into the marketplace. That selling price got stuck. They then went wholesale. They did not have the money to increase it. And so they could not sell it wholesale. And I kept saying, you've got to build the cost in at the beginning. You can see in this very, very simple thing how I built the cost in at the beginning. Okay, good job. We're learning a lot. Now, what we're going to do now is going to learn one little performance measurement. Now, all I'm doing here, guys, is I'm saying the selling price is $5.25. The cost is $1.07. The gross profit of this product alone is $4.18. And we know the gross profit is the sell price minus cost equals gross profit, okay? Now, we can turn that into a margin. This is your first understanding of gross profit margins. If we turn it into a margin, then what happens is we're just taking $4.18 and we're dividing $5.25 into it. So we know we have 80% gross profit. What that means is that after we make the cookie, we have 80% left over of the $5.25 to spend on overhead and net income. Performance measurements work in a cost structure, which I'm eventually going to go through a class where I tell you everything about cost structure. And in fact, I have 2 seminars coming up where I go into this in detail, and I'll make sure we get the links out to everybody in case you want to sign up for them. But this is the first introduction to cost structure. Now, cost structure will help you to evaluate any kind of question that you can ask, but we can also start doing it even with just gross profit. I want you to notice that the small is an 80% gross profit, the medium is a 77, and the large is 80. The bigger the gross profit, the better. So like say I said, well, after I paid for my house, I have 80% left over of my salary to pay for other things, including anything I want to do. That's a whole different story than this. This is more the story in California. Once I pay the mortgage on my house, I have 20% left over to pay for my bills, okay? You know how we talk about your house shouldn't be a greater percentage of your salary? This is the same thing. Once I pay a percentage to have my product made, I have this much left over to pay for my overhead. That's the beginning understanding of cost structure. Now, all of these are not equal. So what would happen if I sold more medium than I sold large or small? All of these have variables. Let's see, right now I'm selling 100 medium, right? Let's say instead I'm going to sell 100 small and 55 medium. You can see that it changes the dynamic. When you build this and you start looking at it, you can say, well, what if I change the selling price? So what if we say, you know what, I don't want to make just $4.50. I am going to change the selling price. Do you guys think that if I just change the selling price to $5.50, that customers are suddenly going to go, whoa, 25 cents more, I'm not going to do it? They may absorb $5.50 very quickly. It may not be an issue, right? So what I did is I came over here and I linked everything so I could examine that. So I'm going to put $5.50 in here, right? Well, look at, I'm up to 475. What I'm showing you guys now is that I didn't create a static forecast that says, I'm going to sell this much because I want to make this much, and you're just pulling numbers out of the air. I, in this very simple example, have now an algorithm that I can start asking many questions and look at what the difference could be. What if the ingredients goes up and suddenly it cost me more to produce, right? So what if suddenly it costs me $1.10 to produce the small cookie? You can see how that's going to change everything along the whole side here. And these are the types of questions and analysis that not only small companies should do, but all companies do. This is what happens in the bigger company world that doesn't happen in the small company world. You've also heard me explain that in a larger company, especially gas prices, when gas prices even were suggested to increase, the bigger companies were passing that cost on to the customers. The smaller companies just absorb it and reduce their ever shrinking profit margin. Guys, I see so many small businesses through the SBDC that when I break down their cost structure, they're not making money, they're not going to make money, they're never going to make money, and they have no clue because they're not doing this basic analysis. And you could see this was just very simply built. Now, I wanted to mention service companies. If you're a service company, remember when I did the labor and I considered my labor as a baker, I would put under the cost my labor to do the action as if I was to hire somebody else to do it. That's the same thing I would do. So I could do, well, a project, I'm going to sell this project at this amount. It would take this many hours. Notice I said hours. You have to have a timesheet. You have to figure out how many hours it will take to do something as an estimate, how many hours it actually took to do it to make sure these numbers come in alignment. Now let's go back to the $500 or 500 cookies. Now, if I turned around and I put a medium and I said I sold 500, oh my God, this is looking really good. I'm going to actually say I sell 680. Okay, I think I'm going to sell 340. Oh my God, I'm going to make $107,000 this year. Although this is highly exaggerated, I would have to say I see financials like this all the friggin' time, guys. And what they've done is they've just said, well, I'm going to take sales and I'm going to increase it 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, and I'm going to do all this, right? Well, I have to look at it and go, the total number of products I'm now selling is 1,520. Can I sell 1,520 and it only costs me 1,045 a month? No. So what happens is people do these forecasts and they go, well, it's going to be this much marketing and then the sales are going to be this, and they have no logical alignment. And if I tell people, I say, go in your mind and see this amount of overhead, see this amount of overhead, and then see that amount of packages that are being created, and you'll see that there's no way. For years, I was an advisory to an investment banking board. They would bring the financials to me and tell me, please look at these. Tell me if you believe management knows what they're doing. And I would look at these using percentages, which we'll have another talk and we'll really teach you the percentages. But I could see that there's no feasible way they knew what they were doing. They just plugged in numbers. You've heard me say before, I said to a couple clients, I go, are you associated really closely to God? And they look at me, I go, well, according to your service business, you just now made 58 hours per day. in order to meet these numbers. So there's no way it would work. So what I'm saying, guys, is it's this basic math, this basic simple math. By putting in an Excel document, I could turn around and I could create a whole bunch of analysis, but there is nothing complicated I did here. This little sheet is pretty cool because it is all connected to things, so I can change the number. Now, going back, there is reality. Okay, there's reality here. This is how we bring reality. I sit there and I picture myself at the farmer's market. I maybe even go to the farmer's market, and I've had students when I taught entrepreneurship do this. Go to the farmer's market, go to your competitor and sit there and have a little clicker and count how many cookies they're selling per hour. Okay, literally analyze how many cookie packages do you believe you'll sell per hour? How many hours are you there? I even have a calculation I've done for farmers market. How many people go to the farmers market? What percentage of people are going to come to your table? What percentage will buy? How many cookies does that translate per hour? How many hours are you there? How many days are you there per week? What is the maximum amount of cookies you think you can sell, right? And then if you come up with a number and you say, well, maybe I can sell, this many cookies. I'm just making it up once again. I think I could sell this many cookies, but I've got some actual data that I'm going to sell this many cookies. We'll say, well, you're only going to make 1,096 plus to bake. That's not going to work, right? So what you're seeing here is it sounds like I'm going all over the place, but what I'm really doing is I'm saying at financial number, test, plug in new number, tested. True, does it make you the right amount? Financial number, test, plug in a new number. Is it making you the right amount? Financial product, plug in a new number. Is it making you the right amount? So, hey, Lauren, what do you think of your cookie company now?
You know what? I was nervous at first. I thought butter and passion could get it alone, but I feel far more confident now to make a sound decision for sure.
More cookies than you thought?
Yeah.
What other thoughts are, what other thoughts might come to it? And let's just talk. How could we use this little thing we learned today? Can we answer other questions? And you guys also throw a question, throw in your cookie company. What kind of question could you ask? And I'm going to tell you how you would arrange this to answer it. While they're thinking of a question, Lauren, do you have one?
Let me see. So, okay. What are your thoughts on whether or not I can, so 2 questions, whether or not I can afford another assistant, and then part 2 would be, or not part 2, my second question would be, how much, if I'm projecting ahead, how much would you say that I can afford in marketing to grow?
Oh, good questions. Okay, let's put some numbers in a little bit higher here, so at least we got you to have some money. We want you to have some money, okay? Let's get you some money, right? Okay, you may not make that much at a farmer's market, See, I also can immediately say, well, what's kind of practical, right? You'd be lucky if you made this at a farmer's market, but let's say you make this amount, right? So here's my question to you. You're making $32,692. You decide to add another assistant. Say you add another one, right? It's going to be $1,000. Well, you just went to 26,692. That's not good, right?
No.
So here's the cool thing. You know what it means? If you're bringing on an assistant, you should be able to sell some more cookies, right? Okay.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah. So let's check this out, guys. Ready? This is so fun. This is pre-assisted, right?
Yep.
Everybody write down the number 32692. This is the amount that we decided we want to make in this example. 32692. Okay. Now, Lauren just hired another assistant, same amount. It's now $1,000. She's down to 26692. So here's what the cool question comes. How many more cookies does Lauren have to sell to pay for the assistant? Well, let's see. We can start plugging in numbers. More than that.
Yep.
More than that. More than up, little bit more, little bit more. Up, 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 danger, danger. Anybody's got to be old enough to know Will Smith, danger, danger. That's when I make a mistake. I always do that. 168. Okay, so you got a little bit more. The assistant's paying off, right? But you're going to have to do more marketing to do that. So we've been doing $50 marketing. What if we do 100 marketing? Whoa, we're going to go.
Wait a minute.
So what happens is then you say, how many cookies does the additional marketing have to get me to sell? And you get the return on investment. So then you say, I am going to spend $50 more marketing, but I believe it's going to allow me to sell 100 more medium cookies because I'm going to do it for, the marketing on the medium cookie. Oh my God, it went up. Well, if this went up, you watch historical data to see if it's true, okay? If it's true. And yes, Daisy, it does take into consideration how many cookies you can make in a day. That's why the 500 and all wouldn't make sense, because you got to take the alignment in. I could turn around and I could put a huge number in here, but I might say, even at these many cookies, I have to turn around and I have to put more money in here. So there is these parameters on every single thing. Now, before we end today, you got to remember we had the startup cost. You have to take that out from your first income to cover your startup, because you really did not make this amount. You have to cover the startup. That's how the startup comes into play. So guys, in summary, today's really fun thing. First of all, thank you so much for playing the game. I wanted to go over this little by little so you could see, A, it doesn't take extensive math. It just takes understanding what to do. And anyone who wants assistance with me to build a model, I'll be glad to do it. I don't give out this model because it's just a bunch of numbers I throw in there. It's not going to make any sense, but the video's here and you can watch it again and again. My main point to you guys is do the math. Don't live on passion and butter, okay? Do the math. When things change, recalculate the math. I just showed you the basis of a CFO trick. As CFOs, we sit there and we analyze this. We analyze it when a cost changes. We analyze when anything changes. We identify what's the most we can sell something for. We see how a penny will change. We go through all these numbers again and again. Nothing should be made up. Small businesses believe they make up numbers. Companies that are at some level of success, no, you don't make up numbers. You cannot tell what's going to happen. We don't have a crystal ball, but you use this to identify what the parameters are, what benchmarks are, what you must meet. And then everything comes out. If you put this much in marketing, you need this much more in sales. You check that it made this much more in sales. Notice when I talked about the marketing, I looked at net income. I didn't look at the sales number. I said, how much was the net income? That ties into the discussion we had last week. In fact, as you go through old shows, you'll see that this really brought everything together. And remember, I didn't have rent in, I didn't have everything inclusive, but just to kind of go over it, you've got to figure out what are the ingredients, what are the labor, create your packages, create your overhead, create your startup, then just literally say, what are your packages? How many are you going to sell? What's the selling price? What's the total sales? What is the exact cost when you match it? What's your gross profit? What's your overhead? And what's your net income? This is so simple, guys, and it's priceless. So I can't make a dance because you got to show me how to make a dance. Thank your videos. Yay, yay, yay. It's all about profit. And Lauren, that's all I got for today. Oh, one last thing. Robert, taxes come in at the end. You don't pay taxes until you make money. This calculates for money. Taxes are when you get more involved in doing financial analysis in another way. So I leave taxes out right now because I'm looking at prices, setting costs, and everything from that. So don't create a cookie company that doesn't give you money to eat the cookies you're even baking. Make sure everything's in alignment, do financial numbers, Tune in here next week. We're going to have another great guest, and then I'm going to have another Ask Lori, and I'm going to pick up on this and teach you more about cost structure. I don't have the links right now to my upcoming classes. I should have gotten them, Lauren. Can I give them to you and put them on the landing page?
Yes, please.
Okay. Because I got a financial 101 and at the beginning, and then a class that goes into cost structures, and you can sign up for that and go over more as well on that. Okay. So Lauren, any last comments?
Lori, I feel like I need this just for my personal life. So I know how much money, how much the kids are costing, how much rent and all the things, the activities, and then how much money I actually need to be making. Like
Would
Go ahead.
I surprise you, Lauren, if I told you that my entire life is in an Excel spreadsheet? I can tell you how much my company makes, how many pennies I have left over, how much I plan on making, what discretionary income, how much I spent, every single bit of it, every single bit of it. And, the thing is, guys, life can be very stressful. I think I'm not surprising anybody on saying that. And one of the biggest stressors is finance. And the reason why is finance, personal or business, it's a wall. It's a wall, because if you are making this amount, it's going to set the stage on how much it has to be internally. And when people don't understand that they're hitting the wall, they start getting in debt. They start going in larger amounts than they believe. They believe their company's going to make it. And it just causes stress. I mean, when you know the truth can set you free, but it does cause you to make a really proactive. I'll end with the story. Turnaround consulting, I have had so many stories over this time period. It's amazing. But there was this couple. I came in and analyzed their company, had to tell them some pretty serious news, right? And the couple fought for, like, I swear, 20 minutes. And I just sat there and was quiet. And when they finally quit fighting, I said to them, I go, I have never seen anything good come out of delusional ignorance. Now that we can do something about it. And that's my key. Most entrepreneurs live their life not really knowing, and they just kind of are, flying at things. If you know, you can do something about it. And that's what it requires to be successful.
Lori, that's the part. If it's ambiguous, if I don't know, then maybe I can figure it out. I feel like is like the consensus. But to your point, if you do know, then we can actually put a plan in place. That's the part entrepreneurs are missing. That's the part I'm missing in my personal life.
And Lauren, they go after the marketing plan. And so what I see a lot of people do is they sell more at the wrong selling price, and they go broke. And if anybody has ever met with me on one-on-one and been in this type of conversations, I say, so you want to be more broke and more tired? Is that the goal? And so many times I say, what the best thing you could have done with your company today is just gone to the beach, because you lost more money today than you made. Wow. And I see it time and time again. So people just try to sell themselves out of a problem. And I just say, what, all you are is going to be more broken, more tired. You have to understand these cost structures. And so my claim to fame and the goal, like I said, I started in the small company world, little country town girl, went into the city, big CFO, big banker, all this stuff. I'm back into the little villages, and I'm trying to say these things are really important. They're simple. I can teach you to understand them and apply them to your company and be happy. Don't be broke is miserable. Okay. Yeah. Don't be broke, be happy. And you can make decisions. You can change ingredients. You can change packaging. I've seen a situation where we just changed the number of cookies, in this case, in the package, and suddenly they were profitable.
Wow.
I have had somebody with a t-shirt business. I did this elaborate one on, and we just changed the price of the t-shirts by $1. They were $30 t-shirts. We just changed $1. $1 was enough to make a difference on the quantity. But like I said, these Excel documents just let you ask a question, get an answer, go out in the marketplace, test it, come back. So marketing and all those other aspects, hiring people, those are all plans and strategies, but they have to be tied into finance. In companies that succeed, they have a financial person, like a CFO like I was, or interim CFO for a lot of companies I do. And I go, no, No, can't do it. No, we got to do this instead. But companies that are smaller don't pay attention to finance. And so they just make marketing decisions and they throw more money at it. They hire people. And like Joel pointed out, thank you for that comment. They're making the least money in the company. But anyway, I could go on and on, and I'm running over on time. I got to stop now, but I just so try to make people understand it. So thank you for bearing with me, guys, in my little Excel document bouncing around. My mouse went flying. We had a lot of excitement here, but I didn't want to show you a presentation that was all perfect and it was hard to follow. I wanted to be as raw as the ingredients in the cookies were, and that's what I tried to do today. I really hope you learned a lot. Okay, Lauren.
I was just going to say, Lori, numbers literally scare me. I am frantic. And so, but with this breakdown, I feel like I can actually do it. It's achievable. It's something that I understand the formulas. I understand the numbers, and I can't say that I've ever understood numbers ever. So the way you've broken it down.
Yeah, I didn't do anything really complicated, did I?
No, well, no. And it was a lot of common sense, right? The questions you were asking.
Yep. You know, when we look at big financial statements and publicly traded companies, and we look at income statement and balance sheet and QuickBooks, you're getting a lot of numbers together and they can be complicated, but you got to remember, those are just the reports of the numbers I showed you on the spreadsheet. Those fancy, cute little numbers come about because you sold a product at a cost and at a sell price. So what I'm showing you is the foundation of understanding your financials. You get this right, you make the right decisions. Technically, you don't even have to look at those financial statements to know you're profitable because you made the decisions. This is ground zero of business decisions. The reports is the accounting numbers put together for financial reading, right? So people get confused on financial management, which is the big reports, to just accounting management, which is figuring out the basis of the business model, what it takes to succeed. The basis of financial management within any size company is just about very small common sense numbers. It's when they get on the reports and they include tax that they get complicated. So people get focused on that and don't even recognize this part. And most of the people don't even understand it. I better stop now. We're going to have an Ask Lori session again. We'll bring back this and much more. I'm going to go, or I could talk forever, guys. We'll make it 2 or 3 hours. I'm going to leave Lauren behind with you. She'll get different information and pass the chat to me. And anybody that wants to get in touch with me or wants me to cover something else or has an additional question, send it to me. If I didn't get your question, send it again. I try to get all of them, but I get kind of, busy. But hey, thank you, everybody. Be profitable. Those that creative know the dance, create the dance. We're going to have a lot of fun and continue to do so. Thank you, Lauren, for your cookie company idea.
Oh, thank you, Lori. This was awesome. The chat's going crazy per usual. A lot of questions about your spreadsheet. A lot of people want a copy of it so that they can play around with it. They want to set up appointments. So
yeah, and we'll have the video up. The spreadsheet's got all different numbers. I don't like to give it out because I can't ensure that the numbers, I type over them, the formulas might be messed up and everything. But you can get with me. We'll make a spreadsheet. You can watch this video again and again and again. You can stop the video. You can put the numbers in. What I really want you to do, guys, is I don't want you to just put numbers in a template. Everybody that knows me knows I'm not for templates. Create this template. Watch the video. Stop. Contact me for help. Put in questions, get in touch with me. I want you to make your spreadsheet. With that, I'm going to be out of here, Lauren. See everybody next week. Bye-bye.
See you next Wednesday. For those of you still hanging on, please be sure to send me an email. I put it into the chat. It's that lsimpson@lbcc.edu. Again, lsimpson@lbcc.edu. I see all of your comments. Thank you so much for that. David, I'm So glad you're an SBDC client. Please be sure to send me an email. And this goes for all of you. For those of you that like to set an appointment with Lori directly, send me an email, lsimpson@lbcc.edu, and we'll get that set up. And then if you have any other additional questions, please be sure to send me an email so that we can get you some answers. Either Lori will follow up via email, or it'll be addressed on our next show. Oh my goodness, this session was so good. We'd love to have you join us again. So we will see you next week. That's Wednesday at 10 a.m. for another session of Small Biz Talk, solutions for your small business. I see a question about how will we get the workbook? So I think what Lori was trying to tell you all was that the recording to this session will be available on our YouTube channel by the end of the day. So I will plug that back into our chat again. But also she's imploring you all to please just set an appointment with her. She doesn't want to give you a spreadsheet just arbitrarily, or the worksheet, yes, the Excel document that she was working from. She'd rather build it for you personally so that as you're plugging in numbers, they actually apply to your business. So again, my email is in the chat. Be sure to send me a note if you would like to get connected with Lori. Good. And then I will include our YouTube once again so that you guys can see the recording to this session as well as all of our other sessions. So again, thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next week at 10 a.m. for another session of Small Biz Talk, solutions for your small business with Lori Williams. Thank you. Oh, send in those dance videos. Okay, thanks. Bye. Have a great week.